Whisky Jewbilee is something truly unique for people who love whiskey, kosher food, and want to celebrate together. And you started out in a shul, right?
Yeah, 7 years ago now. Yeah.
And so tell us about Whisky Jewbilee and its origins and where you are now.
It had kind of interesting origins. To be honest, when we started the Whisky Jewbilee, we weren't looking to start the Whisky Jewbilee. Me and my business partner, let me use proper English, my business partner and I, we had started an independent bottling company. We just wanted to bottle good whiskey and sell good whiskey. But our company name is Jewish Whiskey Company. And it was 7 years ago where a much bigger festival called Whiskey Fest switched their event from like weekday to Shabbos.
Right.
And at that time, we started getting people reaching out to us saying, what are we going to do? You know, you guys are the Jewish Whiskey Company. Can you do something for all the people that can't go to Whiskey Fest anymore? And this was about 4.5 weeks before Whiskey Fest. And so we said, well, let's think about this. I said, it's not a lot of time. Okay. Do we want to do it? I don't know. Can we do it? Maybe. But we ended up doing it. And one of the things that we wanted to make sure before we started this event was that we called the people at Whiskey Fest to say, look, we're not trying to take anything away from you. In fact, the people that are interested in coming to our event don't feel comfortable coming because it's on their Sabbath. And they said, we get that. Please, you have our blessing. Go ahead and start the event. And so the first 2 years we were in shuls, 2 different shuls, and it was the Thursday before Whiskey Fest, always in October-ish time frame. And October's tough because you've got the holidays.
Right. Yeah.
The Chagim are there.
Right.
And so we said, in third year, we said, let's move it to an earlier time. And we looked in the calendar, no Jewish holidays to wrestle with, and no other whiskey festivals in June. So from year 3 and on, we've been in June in New York. And then we expanded into Chicago and Seattle as well.
As you're walking around this event, you see a lot of happy faces, but you have also different types of whiskey.
Yeah.
And so how do you actually sort of bring them all together?
So that's a really good question. When we think about the exhibitors that we want to be here, we think about it from a few different perspectives. And one of them is we want to ensure that our festival is different from everybody else's. And so you may, going around here, you're not going to see, I mean, we have big names here. Highland Park is here, Macallan is here, a few others, but there's some other really big brands you don't see here because we try to give equal opportunity to smaller producers, to independent distilleries, independent bottlers, and so on, to give people a really unusual breadth of products to drink and enjoy, and we cap the attendance. Like, we've got a good number of people here, right. But you compare it to some of the other events, they really pack in a lot of people, which is fine. It makes for a good event. But to me, this isn't a whiskey event. To me, this is an educational event that is conversations around this. That's what it is for me.
And, you know, before this event, I spoke to a couple people who they love whiskey, and it's actually something they're looking forward to. There's a lot of Jewish events out there. There's always some type of alcohol that's there, but this is unique, as you mentioned. Like, you have like those smaller types of shops that people wouldn't get anywhere else.
Yeah, exactly. I think you said it better than I did.
So, where do you see this event going in the next 2 years?
It's a good question. So we've expanded to Chicago and Seattle, but the problem with the Jubilee is the fact that we are an incredibly small company, and it's just me and Jason. Me and Jason. This problem. So it's just me and Jason doing this, and we've had a lot of people. We've had people in Florida. We've had people in Austin, Texas, and everywhere saying, "Please come, please expand here," because maybe there's a good Jewish community there, maybe there's just a good whiskey drinking community there, and we just don't have the manpower to expand. Having said that, we are growing, and so we're having discussions internally of how to properly manage growth.
Right. Scaling out is always the hardest thing. It's because like you have like that vision, but if you're not good at your core, you're done.
Yeah.
And then it's like, this is actually my second time here. Like at this venue, and I remember the first, like really the early on. I went to there was a whiskey. It might have been the main one in the Hilton or something a while back. It was like maybe the whiskey. I forgot what it was called. There's like
Whiskey Live.
Yeah. And so like, but it's funny because I saw some people with like the kiddish club, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, this is like you feel comfortable in this space.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing for us. You look around. Obviously, there's a lot of kippot, and there are beards, and there are hats, and everything like that. But there's also a lot of non-Jews here. We want to make it comfortable for everybody. And like you look at Seattle's a totally different show.
Yeah.
It is. There's far more non-Jews than there are Jews, but it's still a kosher catered event. It's very important to us that people can come here and be comfortable eating. Because again, it's back to that education.
Sure.
And if people come to a festival and they can't eat, then they're just getting drunk, and no one's having fun. And
having Ari White here with Wandering Q, it's like.
Here's the tough thing for me. Both my business partner and I are vegan.
That's tough. That's really tough.
That's really tough, and people.
Well, the pickles are great.
I hear the pickles are great. Yeah, so it's we're not going to eat it, but we know
it's great.
Ari is Ari, right?
Yeah, he's one of the few kosher caterers and businessmen that really understand the market and know what people want.
Yeah, and he's what I really like about it too, and I knew Ari before catering, because again, I'm not going to hire him. I don't need his food, but I knew him through whiskey. He's a whiskey fanatic.
And once you're in that, it's like the bro code, right? It's a whiskey pro code in a way. So where can people learn more about your organization?
So they can go to whiskyjewbilee.com. Whiskey, everything we do, when we spell whiskey, it's always without an E, and it's always Jubilee with a Jew, which is kind of interesting. We had a Facebook ad up, and someone didn't get that it's just tongue-in-cheek, and they thought some anti-Semite was like, who's the anti-Semite? No, it's the Jewish whiskey companies.
They just innovated these guys. These guys in the internet and the words, right?
So it's whiskyjewbilee.com. And then our whiskey company, Single Cask Nation, that's our whiskey company. We have a tour company called Whiskey Geek Tours, and we can do kosher tours as well. And we have a podcast called One Nation Under Whiskey. In our podcast, you learn all about everything we do in that podcast.
Great. Well, thank you so much. This is incredible.
Thank you so much.
Good luck with everything.
Yeah, thank you.